So Greg, thanks for joining me for doing this video testimonial. And now you've been with us for about 6 months, and I know you have started in November 2010, and we're now at sort of May 2011. So you've probably got a good idea as to what we're like as a service. And firstly, I'd like to just start with getting an idea about your firm. So if you could just sort of describe your firm, just give us an idea of what your firm's like.
MCB Accounting is a small practice. I'm the sole owner of it. We've got about four or five professional staff here.
Mm-hmm.
We're situated in Mount Isa, which is northwest Queensland. It's one of the more remote parts of the state, probably the country, which is why it's notoriously difficult to find professional staff to come here.
Yeah.
So we specialise in small business and tax. We're pretty much as like most private practice firms.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. And why did you consider Boss? And particularly, I know you've used an outsourcing company before, so I'd like to know a little bit about your experiences of that and what you found the differences were with your last firm and Boss as well, if you could.
A couple of years ago, we had, a few years ago now, we had one or two staff leave, and at the time they left, we couldn't find a suitable replacement professional staff as soon as we'd have liked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we started outsourcing in the first place.
Yeah.
The reason, though, that we came to Boss last year was because we were looking for we were looking to really have the outsourcing function treated as much as we could like another staff member, rather than just sourcing. We were looking to get improvements on efficiency, and that meant that what we really needed to get, as I saw at the time, was to have someone logging into our system and processing work just like another staff member.
Yeah, okay. So that's one of the reasons you considered Boss, so you had that real sort of relationship with someone as if they were a staff member, is that right?
Yep, because the alternative was to prepare backups and upload everything to a secure part of the website, and then the outsourcing firm would then prepare the work and load it all back up again. We'd have to unzip everything, restore the stuff to our tax and ledger systems, and any queries we had to send back for rework or reply to queries or whatever, we'd do another process of preparing the PDFs again and backing up and resending and then getting back and redoing the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where we had several copies of the same used work in the same folder. It was getting a bit confusing, it was getting cumbersome and a bit clunky. The whole process was very difficult to work around.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, whereas I said, look, what I want is to have someone that I can just have as a staff member that logs in to our system. We have staff who, particularly in admin, who are not in Mount Isa, they're in another town.
Mm-hmm.
They do the same thing. They log in through a terminal server, through our practice management program and whatever parts of the program we want them into. So Boss do the same thing. They just log in as another employee and do their work. So they're on our job flow system. Any queries that we can dial in real time and have a look without any drama. And the weekly meeting make it easy enough just to discuss any issues we might have and resolve them as soon as they occur.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. And what's the Boss accountant like?
It's pretty good, actually. I think it came to us as an intermediate. I think was the description, and really I have to say that he's as good as any. The quality of work we've got would be as good as any intermediate would come to us here. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and so apart from what you've explained about sort of the benefits of Boss in terms of we can work like one of your staff members, is there anything else that strikes you that is stand out amongst what Boss delivers and how it might help you in the future?
Predominantly it's efficiency gain. That's a really big one to me. And the communication lines are fairly good. They're always open. We've got besides the accountant working on the job, there are two people in the office in Boss who are in on the conversations, on the emails, and on the weekly meetings, plus yourself.
Yeah.
So the communication is quite frequent. Sometimes the meetings might only last 10 minutes or 5 or whatever. No big deal if there's not much to talk about. Well, that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to drag on. But that's really it. And the ability for someone to log into our system and see the job flow in our system where it is, so I can just go and say, right, allocate this job to boss. In our job flow, I just go and put it's a boss job, and it's done. I don't need to send off anything else. It's just there.
Yeah, great. Okay. Now, I gather that you've got some changes happening at the moment with your firm. You're part of Nixon Advantage, and I think you're implementing some of those sort of recommendations from Nixon. I just wondered, how that's going for you, and how sort of Boss looks like it's going to fit in with that.
One of the key. Well, look, we started Boss before we started Nixon. Not coincidental either, I don't think. But when we started with Nixon Advantage about a month or so, well, really we didn't start our first meeting until only a couple of months ago now. So when we started with Nixon Advantage, it was one of the key things that we saw we had to do was lift our efficiency. Mm-hmm. And we weren't going to do that with the way we were outsourcing before. So at any rate, it would have been, I suppose, we've just changed over, if you like, in time for the Nixon thing to pick up.
Yeah.
So that efficiency gain has been quite good, and Boss's flexibility with being able to say, well, you work with our systems and our processes, our work patterns, the way we want you to work.
Yeah.
It's in our work patterns, all our stuff. We're not going to look at your stuff and decipher it.
Yeah.
And that again makes it efficient, because if we pick up a job that you've done last time, if we pick up a job now, we're in our own stuff anyway. We don't need to go trolling through your own work patterns beforehand.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and so with the future and perhaps growing, do you think you'll be engaging any more Boss accountants in the future? Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer.
No, we will. It'll be. I would expect we'll be looking for. When we started with Boss, I could probably have taken on a bit more capacity. We started off only with a part-time accountant, being half. 20 hours a week, I think it is. And I did that intentionally because I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't jumping in head first and doing it, losing the efficiency gain, if you like, to try and get used to the way Boss works.
Yeah.
But I would say with reasonable confidence that in the very near future we'd be asking for probably another full-time accountant.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so generally you would recommend Boss as a service?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, great. All right, well, thanks very much for that. I do appreciate your time, and obviously we'll be catching up again for another client service meeting soon. But I appreciate your time again for this video testimonial. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, cheers, Greg.
So, as you've seen, Boss can supply you with an effective, experienced accountant that works remotely and works your way using your procedures, and it's better than outsourcing. So take a free trial. We can do up to 20 hours of work for free. It takes just minutes to set up, and we can do any work except audits for trials. My name's Lee Court, and I'd like to thank you for listening.